Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first tutorial on how to use Adobe Illustrator. I'm hoping this will be useful for you if you have never used Adobe Illustrator before. I'm just going to go through all these very basic things. So I'm going to show you how to open a new file. I'm going to show you some things on the toolbar, the pick, the direct select tool, the pen tool, the shapes tool, the text tool. I'm going to talk to you a bit about aspect ratio. I'm going to talk to you about layers, fill and stroke. Okay, so if I get started about opening a new file, so when you open up Adobe Illustrator, the first thing you'll do is you'll come up with a box that looks like this. Can you please make sure that your page is 1220 millimeters by 615 millimeters? So it needs to be landscape. 1220 by 615. It can stay CMYK, that's fine. Raster can stay at 300 dpi, that's fine. Okay, so they're the things that we're worried about. I hit create, and I should end up with a blank box like that. That's 1215 by what did I say? 900 and something. That there is actually the size of the laser cutter, the laser cutter bed. So it's important that we have it like that so that it makes it easy to talk to the laser cutter when we come and laser cut things out. Okay, so we've just opened up a new file. I'm going to go through the toolbar. Sorry, the toolbar is along the left hand side here. You can see there's two different arrows. One is a pick tool or a selection tool. The other one is the direct selection tool, and I'll explain how that works in a minute. I've got the pen, I've got the shape tool, and I've got the text tool. So they're the ones that I'm going to talk about. So with a pen, I can click and click. Click and let go, click and let go. If I click and hold, can you see that I get this thing happening? I can start to make curves. So I can go like this, click, click, click. Or I just go click, 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 and I get straight lines. Once I get to the end there, you can see there's a little O there, which means that I'm filling this, I'm completing this. This is a complete shape. Okay, so the direct select tool allows me to directly move everything. Okay, the select tool, the direct selection tool allows me to grab one part and move one part around. So if I grab this one here, for example, this little point here, this node, I can play around with these things. So these are the handles, and these handles allow me to change the way that bend works. I can actually push that handle all the way in like that, and then all of a sudden it becomes a straight line there, and then it's just a curve there. Can you see that? If I push that one in, then it becomes just a node. So there's a node, there's no control point there at all. Okay, this little thing here, this is a curvature. I can click on that, and look at that. It actually allows you to curve things. This is a relatively new thing, but that's basically it with picking and direct picking, or sorry, selection and direct selection. Pen tool, shapes, So if I look at this is an ellipse. An ellipse is a circle of some sort, I can make the ellipses whatever size I want, If I hold my shift button down, it will make it a circle. It will keep as a circle, If I press and hold onto this, can you see how I've got different things? I can create a rectangle, polygon, star tool, etc. Again, a rectangle tool like that. If I hold my shift button down, it stays as a square. Okay. If you look over to the size over here, you can see the properties of this particular square. You can see it's 199 millimeters by 199 millimeters. You can see that this thing here is turned on. It says maintain width and height proportions. So if I change one, the other one will change at the same time. So if I want to make that only 50, then the other one will change to 50 as well. Okay. If I have that turned off, if I change that to 100, then the 50 doesn't change and I get a rectangle. Can you see that? So that works really, really well, when I'm wanting to be more accurate with my measurements. Okay. So that's the aspect ratio, or the width and height proportions. Okay. So with that, I'm going to show you, I'm going to go to the pick tool. Can you see how this circle and also this square, can you see how it covers that line? So when I put it over the line, it covers that line. So this is sitting on top of this shape here. So the fill, is white. The stroke, which is the outline, is black. We don't want that. Okay. The fill and the stroke in Adobe Illustrator for our purposes relate to the etching and the cutting of the laser cutter. So if I wanted to cut this, if I wanted to etch this out, I would go to the fill and I'd etch it. So and I turn it into red, yeah? So I'll turn it into red, yeah? And then what will happen is that my laser cutter will etch that. So I'll get a box. Obviously it won't be red, yeah? But I'll get that box, yeah? The other thing is the stroke, yeah? The stroke is the cut, if I want it to be cut on the outside, yeah? So there's no point in cutting it on the outside if I'm going to etch it on the inside. But let's just say I was going to cut that box out. I would make it no fill, yeah? And I would make the stroke, this is really important, guys, 0.25 points. 0.25 points, as small as you can possibly get it. Because that there is almost a hairline thickness, and what it will do is the laser cutter will understand that I need to cut. The correct terminology for it is to vector, yeah? So when I talk about etching, yeah, so the etching is red, the vector is cut, yeah? This particular one here, this circle, let's say I want to etch that in. So again, I'll have that as 0 fill. And if I wanted to etch that, yeah, again, I'd turn it into red, and I could make it 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point, however thick I wanted it, and the laser cutter will go through and it will etch that on. It will etch that in, yeah, into the acrylic. It won't go all the way through, okay? Really important for you to understand is layers, yeah? When you save your files, you will need to make sure that your files, your etching and your vectoring, your cutting, are in 2 different layers, yeah? Otherwise, we won't know how to cut your work, okay? And it's really easy. Down the bottom here, there, create new layer, or here you can also do create new layer as well, new layer, yeah? So I'm gonna have one layer, I'm actually gonna cancel that. I'm gonna have one layer, and I'm gonna call that etch, yeah? And I'm gonna have another layer, and I'm gonna call that vector, yeah? Okay, so vector is to cut. I'll just put that in brackets. Vector means to cut, yeah? So just remember that that's the way. So I'm going to click this down here, yeah? And can you see that this is my rectangle? If I turn it off, I can't see it. Now I can see it. That rectangle needs to be cut, doesn't it? That ellipse there, I'm going to etch that in. So I'm going to click it and drag it up to etch. That thing there, I don't really want that. So I'm actually going to click it like that, yeah? Or I go to my selection tool, yeah? I'm just going to hit delete, okay? That's it. That's the basics. That's the really, really basics. That's all you need to know to get yourself started, okay? Can I just make one point? You really want to use a mouse, yeah? And your mouse, Illustrator will probably be set up that you can't zoom in and out on a scroll, yeah? So you can either hit the Option button if you've got an Apple, or the Alt button, and then you can use your scroll button and then it'll move in and out, but it's a real pain to do, yeah? What I do is I go to Illustrator Preferences, so Illustrator Preferences General, yeah? And just make sure Zoom with Mouse Wheel is turned on. That's really important. That'll make your life so much easier, okay? You'll know that I can zoom in and out with the mouse now, and if I click it, if I hold down the mouse wheel, I can pan, yeah? So pan is to, see, I've got that hand and I'm pushing it, I'm dragging it around, yeah? So zooming in and out, yeah, and panning left and right. They're really important ways to be able to see your work, okay? So just to go back to that, I've shown you how to open up a new file, yeah? I've shown you the various aspects of the toolbar, the selection pick tool, the direct selection or direct selection tool, yeah? The pen tool and the various ways you can make those nodes curved or straight, yeah? I've shown you how to create different shapes. I haven't talked about text. I'll talk about text. I've talked about the aspect ratio, fill, stroke, and layers. Let me talk about text. Sorry, let me go back to text. So if I wanted to do text, it's easy. Click, yeah? Go back to properties so you can see what you've got, yeah? I'm going to make it 72 point just so I can see it, yeah? And I'm going to write test, yeah? So that's all I've got, yeah? Double click on that, and I can change it to whatever I want, yeah? Again, let's make it Arial black, yeah? I can make it larger or smaller. In actual fact, if I have that aspect ratio turned on, I'm just going to say I want to make it 50 millimeters tall, yeah, and it will change it to 50 millimeters tall for me. If I want that to be etched in, what do? Remember, if I want it to be etched in, I make it red, and I make sure that it's on the etch layer, yeah. When I send it through, when I send it through onto the laser cutter, oops, sorry, let me get out of that. When I send it through onto the laser cutter, what will happen is there'll be 2 jobs. I'll just say that again, yeah? There'll be 2 jobs in the laser cutter. There'll be this etching one. So the laser cutter will first etch all this stuff in, and then what it'll do is it'll stop doing that, and then it'll do the cut. Okay, so the cut's the first thing that it'll do. Sorry, the etch is the first thing that it'll do, and the cut is the vector is the second thing it'll do. Okay, so have I done everything? Yep. Text. Okay. I'll talk more about text in my next video, and I'll show you how you can take text from the internet and turn that into something cool. Okay.